Alright everybody, welcome back to End of the Veil. I'm Rachel, and it's great to have you here. So we have lots to talk about tonight. I'm going to be updating you first, and then we are going to be talking about the EVPs from the last video, as promised, as much as we can here. The first thing I would like to do is give a big shout out to Luann Tucker. I would invite you, if you like wood carvings, wood burnings. She does a beautiful job. Hopefully you can see, but we have a big foot in this clock that she made, and it's gorgeous. I also have a plaque, and she made some beautiful coasters. Got a tree on that one. I hope that you can see that well. Bigfoot with a silhouette in the middle of it. And pine tree. Our big buddy. And another foot without the silhouette. So, thank you so much, Luann. You do beautiful work. If anybody would be interested in getting Luann's information, reach out to me. I'm absolutely happy to get you her email. And I'm sure she would love to take your orders if you'd like similar items. And she also does other work. That's just a sampling of what she does. She's very talented. Also, to put you in the loop, we just finished a new batch of Ormus. It's really amazing. So if you're running out, or if you'd like to try it, please reach out to us and we will happily get that to you. Again, my email will be in the video description box. And lots of goodies. Ken made me some beautiful new rods. And I feel like I want to call these Midnight Serenade because they are just the darkest purple. If you want rods, you don't have to have purple, but I love them. And they work. I mean, they're just amazing. So I feel like the people really love these too. What I'd like to do is, we are very close to 2,000 subs, so if you would be willing to help, if we can get to 2,000, leave a comment with where you are from, what your calling card is from the world, and we'll get you in a drawing and get a pair of these to you. If you prefer any different color or anything else, it's no problem. We can pretty much make it so, but his work is always beautiful. So I know if we know that they're for male or female, we can design them accordingly so they're a little more masculine looking or feminine looking. We also are planning some road trips beginning this month, and hopefully we'll begin to explore some other areas with different individuals that have experiences. If it's close, we can do that pretty easily. I'm not sure how we would do it long distance, but we're always happy to explore and look at the area that you're in. Let's see what else. Make sure you do like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you're interested in a session, I encourage you to try to reach out about that at least a week, if not 2 weeks in advance, because they're kind of coming in waves, and I do like to accommodate everybody. The time schedule is pretty flexible. I do these by phone, and normally it's no problem to have short notice, but occasionally they do stack up. So in order to get first dibs on the day and or time, that you would like, it's important to at least start that process, and then we can work out the details. Email me, I'll get the information to you, and we'll go from there. Let's see. So, the EVPs. I was going to play back through the video and go through this whole thing, and I think it's going to be much easier to kind of recap and give you a feel for what we did discover. You know, the people work in a lot of layers, and we have found out that there are many layers even to the EVPs. Sometimes this can be more of the family, and they can be talking amongst themselves. I was clearly hearing Sobe, and I feel like he was just almost right in my ear to make it easier for me to hear him. He confirmed that I did hear him, and he was pleased with that. Before we ever started, we had kind of started the app to get a feel for how close they really were to the house. And right away they said, have acted. We've heard. If you would both now sit. So I believe this was when I started seeing the corral in my mind's eye, and that was where they kind of hoped we would sit. Then funny enough, it sounded like Junior and Took were going at it. Took apparently has been very bad, and we were picking up on Junior. I could kind of, he's a little faster, and his pitch is just a little higher, not a lot, than some of the others. Anku is very slow. Sobe tries to be very steady. But Junior is still a kid, and he still gets excited. And it felt like there was a big dispute between he and Took, and I think that Junior's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place right now. He wants to be a part of adult matters like most basically 12-year-old kids, but he's not quite old enough for that, and he's virtually outgrown the young ones. And I think that Took really is starting to get on his nerves a little bit with his behaviors, because Took's acting the fool. He had gotten into the food at the gifting tree, apparently, and even had Jim, his father, upset with him. And as they put it, later he had gotten a fat ear, so I think he got an earful about it. We had a lot of lines that were kind of, I hate the term gibberish because it's intentional, but a lot that were in their very specific language versus English, and I feel like sometimes these are the parts that we aren't privy to. It could be that they just don't apply to us. But I did feel that they were, I'm just looking back over my notes because it was a lot. We did feel that there was still a number of energies there that had been part of what we called the gathering. I did not feel that anybody intended harm, but what I clearly got was that we aren't accustomed to that much of that kind of energy. So when you're dealing with higher vibrational energies, it's great. But unless your physical body is able to handle that, or unless they have either integrated with your energy field enough, or have some assurance that it's not going to harm you, it can literally tear you apart. With that said, I believe Anku was helping and he was present but not verbal, and I felt like he had his hands full because a number of them were trying to still leave the place. But I distinctly felt like it was an intentional experience because we all, including us, have asked a number of times why they might not meet us in group, or why it might be an issue to have them in our physical presence. And I honestly believe he was confirming that to have a number of them in our space could easily be very physically overwhelming, much less mentally overwhelming, as we operate in certain patterns and dynamics in the 3D world that really don't apply to them. And it's difficult for a higher vibrational energy to lower their vibration. So obviously we still have room to raise ours, even if we've raised it somewhat. And a year ago we in fact had gone back there at one point that I believe there were a number there, maybe not as many, but we were literally escorted out of the woods before we even got back as far as we did the other night. What that tells me is that we have adjusted somewhat, but we're not quite there yet. It's very difficult for them to lower their vibration. So, other than the boys getting in trouble for fussing and disputing when other things were going on, everything else when we initially started felt very peaceful for the most part. I had asked, as the EVPs had started before we started filming, I had asked who we are speaking with, and the response was groups who thereby, which now could affect her. So I think they were trying to tell us what we were in for so that we had that option. Unfortunately, we weren't able to delineate that as clearly early on as we were later. Again, they were still carrying on with Took about him being arguable. I think Took has a little bit of a mouth on him because it's not the first time that he's gotten in trouble in EVPs. I think the last time it was with Davi. And Davi had tried to politely tell him to watch his mouth. So he's going to be a force to reckon with, I have a feeling. But once he gets there, he'll be all right. A lot of little talk between Ken and I. After we got a little ways, just before we started the video, there's kind of a deep breath sound that comes through on the EVP, and I kind of sense that Sobei was close from the beginning. I don't know that he was in front of the camera or acting any particular way, except to just, Anku had kind of shown he and Davi as wingmen, and I think that they kind of fill in a lot of blanks and help with a lot of side projects if the older ones are busy. And in this case, I felt that either he took it on himself or it was requested of him to walk closely with us to make sure we were safe. And it just very much felt like Anku was trying to confirm much of what he had been telling us. And how do you get that confirmation, really? We were safe, we were fine, no real problems. Uncomfortable for a minute, yeah, but really at the end of the day, nothing to harm us. And if nothing else, I felt like we had the right individuals in place to help. He also had shown me that all of the eye shine that we were picking up, particularly in some of the imagery that was very close to us, that the family had opted to let us know that they were there We did not pick up on a lot of that eye shine until we actually went back over the video, but some of it we did. And it felt like they were very much trying to help shield us also from that influence energetically, and let us know that they were close by. Let's see. Sorry about that. So there was one point where I had said it feels like Sobe, and he did interject. We were getting some of the layering there, so it was very difficult to delineate exactly who was saying what pertained to us. And they did ask that we preview the video. They knew we had the camera. We did preview the video, and I think they were concerned because they knew they were very close. It felt like he wanted all of the extras that were there to just kind of calm down and relax, because they knew us and they knew we could be trusted. And I feel like that was part of some of that energetic conflict that we felt with some of these new ones, especially with transporting issues, or whether that was by portal, or, you know, we didn't see any ships, but we did hear some crazy stuff going on, so I'm not going to say, but I do feel like they were trying to get everybody to just calm down, because they could sense the concern, and they could also sense our discomfort with that all being up in air.
Well, go ahead and wrap this up.
Okay. So we're going to get... 1 second, Sobe, sorry.
What is that sound?
I don't know. It sounds metalish. So Bay's leading us out. We're going to comply, because he knows things we don't know energetically about the space. If things are not yet stable, it could be that there's extra doors or gates open right now that we don't see or understand. All I know is he is fiercely adamant about walking right with us to make sure we're safe. He did say, for now, job by balance. And we felt like he was saying that he was not only helping to shield us and work with us, but he was also being that wingman to help make sure everything on the in the group was going well. I did feel that Davi was on the other side when Ken saw the 15-footer, kind of holding that point to make sure that nothing was coming in or out beyond us to interrupt what they were doing. It's really hard to explain the layering that they use. You know, we see it in not just EVP, but we also see it in video. And we talked about the one shot on Inner Sanctum where the big orb came out over what we called Anku's seat. And when we enlarged that, you could see different layers. And I felt that he was momentarily showing us the veil and showing us the layers in the veil. The farthest that we could look was basically 3 layers. The first just looking like the bright orb light. The second looking more like a fingerprint in the waves of the energy. and the third looking more like a square grid, almost like a nylon mesh. So I believe each one serves a specific purpose, and I believe that a lot of times when we see them in video, one version, when they look very blurry, if you will, maybe they're in that first layer, the one that made the orb just look like a bright light, no detail. And then in the next layer you might see a silhouette, or you might kind of dispute as to whether you're seeing a little more definition. But the third layer is where you really start picking up on their features and intricate details, their eyes, their smiles sometimes. Arpina, I can spot her, I feel like half a mile away now. She has got the most incredible cheekbones, and it's very distinct and it never changes. But it's not until we can get into that additional layer that we can start picking up on those details. And some of that, I believe, also has to do with our own process of ascension, our own growth, and our own ability to see. But they're not going to let you see unless they want to be seen, I'm pretty sure. As we were going out, I did thank Sobe, and he said, accept. In other words, he heard me and he said, I got you. He did say turn off all aids, signal opposites, and I feel like that was a kind of saying, make sure your cameras are off, your lights are off, and so on. So we may have been close at that point to energies that really didn't want to be seen, that were on that outside edge of where we had been. I was kind of complaining also with my right eye, because all of a sudden I just literally couldn't see out of my right eye, and he seemed to also have acknowledged that. Let's see. Should know, and they kind of have, it's not really Yoda talk, but their grammar is not like ours. This says should, know, bad, you have eye. And I think he was saying you should have no bad eye, is what I felt. And he said, we're upset. We now can it, but you want fix it. And I think he's saying, we're upset about this. If you want, we can help fix it. Sabay's got a really dry sense of humor, and as we got to that outside edge and things started feeling better, he kind of started putting in a food order as a joke. Half pizza, butter, I think he's talking about peanut butter, banana, and then he's talking about scoping me to see if I'm okay. And he went on, and then as he was putting his request in, and he had done what he needed to do with my own issue with my eye, he said, cash now. So it felt like he was saying, will that be cash? As a joke for his services. But Sobe is they're all very funny given the opportunity, and I think it was also his way of letting us know that nothing is that serious. Everybody's fine. Laugh a little bit and go on. So all of this went on for a while. Not really seeing, there's a lot of information in here that I really am not allowed at this time to share. And part of it is conversation between them. I feel like they trust us because there's even mention in there again about the oaths, and we have given our word. We have made that oath to the people that we will do everything in our power to keep them safe and to keep our relationship sacred. And I believe that they truly understand that to be the truth now, and that we are more than willing to delineate what they want shared and what they don't. And while that might not seem fair to human beings, to viewers, I do not have the ability to go back on my word, and Ken doesn't either. And it wouldn't matter if it was you or them or family that we have. Once we've said it, we mean it. And that same privacy, that same character is what we try to represent on a daily basis with, our fellow man as well as with the people. And consistency is very important, and we've gotten a long way with them because of it. So it might upset you that there's not more detail in there than what I've given you, but understand the same would apply for you or anybody else. And if and when it is time to share that, I will be the first one to be willing to do it. But it's a privilege and an honor that they are willing to be free around us, be who they are. And I think that's in and by itself a great gift. So set up your sessions if you'd like. Order your Ormus. Hang around for new adventures and road trips. Rods if you'd like. And again, help us get to 2,000 on this channel. Put a comment in the videos with where you're from so that I can write you down and get you in the drawing, and we'll get a set of rods to you also. Other than that, I hope you all stay blessed. I hope to hear from you soon, and thank you so much for being here. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.